There are a lot of brands in this position of spending thousands and thousands of dollars for creative testing, and they end up just throwing money down the drain. Now, it's not your fault. Ultimately, the way you go about conducting your creative test has to go from the very beginning of laying down the foundations. We have to understand at a high level that every new ad we launch, there is a 80 to 70% chance of the ad actually not working because the angle might not be correct with who we're trying to target, the ideal customer profile that's going to buy from our brand. Maybe there's misalignment, maybe it's the copy isn't engaging enough. It might even be the image, it might be the persona, it might be the model in the image, right? There are a lot of variables that could not lead to somebody wanting to make an impulse purchase from your ad. This is the reason why we test. Testing is giving us more data sets on how can we perfect the ad that is going to interact and get our audience to engage with what we're trying to sell them. So the beauty with understanding organization and creative testing from the very beginning is you'll save so much money when you segment your tests. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, when you have your ad set inside your campaign, that is hosting your variations of creatives. Now, what you don't want to do is have 2 to 3 different concepts with different copy, different image models, or even different headlines and product SKUs in one single ad set. What you do want to do is for every single ad set you have, view that as that's your single concept, and you want to create 2 additional variations, but you want to keep majority of the variables controlled and only want to have one variable that's changing, right? That's what you're testing. So for example, you have one single concept that's a static image. Let's say the headline stays the same, the actual copy in itself stays the same, but you're just changing either the background of the image or you're changing like the model actually holding the product. That is going to get you closer to figure out, okay, how does my persona or the demographic I'm going after interact with said model? Or if you want to go a different test, a variation of this test going horizontally would be, okay, you keep the image the same, you keep the copy the same, but you're split testing headlines or you're split testing USPs on the static image, right? So that's going to prevent you spending loads of money on bad concepts, because essentially, if you have a concept that is getting legs, that's getting sales, it might be around close to 1-on-1 break even or somewhat profitable, then you can expand further and you understand, okay, horizontally these concepts are getting results, right? Now I can build up the vertical where I might change the image, I might change the USPs, I might keep something the same, but I'm only testing one variable at a time. That's how you go about creative testing without wasting money on random stuff and not getting insight on how you can make that ad creative better. Now, the second approach to reducing your expenses on creative testing is ultimately having the flywheel system to now tell you you've tested this specific concept this week. Here was the data on this concept. Do we go up the vertical? Do we create more variations of said winner? Or do we go horizontal and test a completely new concept, a new angle, and a new approach to reach our ideal customer profile? When we segment our personas at the ad creative stage, this does our targeting for us if we're launching broad campaigns, and we're saving so much more money because our CPMs are going to be cheaper. So we want to be hyper specific, hyper focused with who is this ad going to reach out to? What is the hypothesis from this ad? What information are we looking to gain? Once we gain this information, how does this affect the whole entire funnel, right? Because we might have a product that's more evergreen that could be sold to females, that can be sold to men. We want to reach out to specific pockets of audiences for each demographic. For example, with women, you have, let's say our demographics 30 to 55, we can target moms, we can target people that have children, we could target, let's say, stay-at-home moms, we can target individuals who don't work, right? Even vice versa for men. Let's say we can hit like blue-collar workers, we can target people that have a family, right? These different audiences that will allow us to gain more insight on what is the desired ad that our audience wants, and then we can also expand the actual demographic of who we're talking to. Because what actually makes an ad work, and this is going to the third step, is congruency across the board, right? An ad that is talking to a specific demographic, talking to a specific person, is going to get more engagement than just an ad going fully broad, not specifically reaching out to somebody, right? Because when you create text, when you create copy that feels personalized to what somebody's going through in a current point in time while they're clicking on the ad, that's going to lead to them actually gaining more insight, building curiosity, wanting to click through on the next step, scrolling, and then making the buying decision to buy off of impulse. That is the way we can increase our sales. That's the way we can increase our conversion rate without having to spend loads and loads of money on creative testing or making changes on the back end. It's how can our ad be personalized to the experience that the user is gaining when they click on our ad and click off to the post-click experience, right? We want to create congruency across the board, not only from what we're talking about, but also what our messaging is compared to the offer, tied to the post-click, tied to the backend. We want synergy across the board, and that's just how we do it, right? So stop wasting money on ad spend, stop creative testing with no direction. If you're interested and you actually want the steps, the protocol to actually have this in-house, the Creative Flywheel system, check out scalevelocity.io. You can speak directly with me as well, because what I do is I manage a portfolio of eCom brands, I set them up for exits, and I do this without relying on any ad agencies. I focus on variables that actually move the needle for your business. So with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.